The fitness industry's most controversial and most well-kept secret, the fake natty stack, and I'm going to present it to you right here in this video. You can make millions too off unsuspecting fitness enthusiasts looking for fast answers to quick results and inevitably a really jacked physique. Screw a business course on how to market your fitness influence. Just do this fake natty stack in 2024. Come on, you're going to make tons of money. If you've never heard of a fake natty before, this is a really important video for you. I'm going to break down what a fake natty is before we get into the fake natty stack, just so that we're on the same page. I want you to think about people like Mike O'Hearn, Chizzy, Dana Lynn Bailey, The Rock, Zac Efron, Simeon Panda, Jeff Said.
That's what she said. Or he said.
There's tons of these guys. I'm talking about the biggest influences in the fitness industry and the biggest liars. These are the guys that make the biggest statements when people are just entering the fitness industry and they haven't been in it at all at any point in their life. They have been around forever, realistically, not just those few people, but fake natties in general. Even way back in the 90s and early 2000s, there was tons of magazines pumping out supplement advertisements based around the idea that these professional bodybuilders who are 260 pounds lean were just using supplements to get bigger. Companies like Cell Tech or Muscle Tech, BSN were all advertising Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler, Fuad Abiad, and making them say that the only thing they're using to get huge is protein powder from that specific brand. And now, of course, we know that that's kind of all lies, and hopefully you've been a viewer of this channel long enough to know that that's all lies, but it's widespread to this day currently, but with a different dilemma. You see, it's 2024, and what people are doing now is just posting online with a sick physique, creating high inflammatory content that creates a lot of opinions. And this is really important because they have a very, very unnatural look and they're very lean, and it hinges on what some people would be skeptical of as unnatural. And so they go ahead and throw natty in their description. As they garner a following from their highly inflammatory content, preaching about health and fitness, but really under the hood doing a lot of other stuff, they also start selling either services or products in the form of an affiliateship where they are selling another company's products, or they're selling their own products that they created once they had gained that infamy, or they're selling a service like coaching one-on-one or something similar to that. Then they create themselves an income. They use this said income to boost their reputation by posting about Ferraris, nice homes, nice lifestyles, and they really make a killing at this. I mean, people are wild about watching other people rule the world and be successful for some reason. So people love guys in Ferraris. People love girls in tight bikinis in tropical locations. It seems to be the narrative of Instagram for some reason. And all the time that they're doing this, they're still preaching about their program or their supplement or both. And shortly after, the general population person walks into the fitness industry, and of course this is the person that is hacking the algorithm in almost every situation, and they get exposed to one of the likes. And lo and behold, they likely purchase a very low-cost budget program from them or some form of a supplement, only to find out weeks later that it's probably not what they wanted to buy, and in fact, it's a shit product or service entirely, and it didn't get them the promised results of looking like the person that they had followed intentionally. And therefore, they realize that this was just a cash grab. And there's a really bad part about this, which is once they realize it's a cash grab, the extrapolation sets in of the fitness industry is a cash grab. So now we understand what some of the scum on the earth are doing. I want to explain how you can leverage their stack to get more results in terms of your fake natty status and become a part of the living waste of 2024's social society. Join me as we get really deep here. Not really though. It's quite simple. So getting straight into the stack, this is personally one of my favorites that I might minorly abuse from time to time. I'm a big upper guy, I'll be honest. However, it's also quite the drug for fake natties to abuse. And you might be asking me why, because it's a non-hormonal and not a steroid compound. Well, developed in the early 1960s, clenbuterol, which is what we're talking about today, was first used in animal livestock. Imagine that. Like, I talk about this all the time. Most of the compounds that bodybuilders use or fitness influencers are developed through animal livestock, which I think is hilarious. But basically it acts as a slight bronchodilator, opening up airways and allowing individuals to breathe, and at the time of development, animals to breathe better, and was used as treatment for asthma or other breathing inhibitory diseases. Now, clenbuterol is in a class of compounds called beta-2 agonist. It works by stimulating the beta-2 adrenergic receptors, leading to smooth muscle relaxation, which is part of the bronchodilating effects. Also, why soccer players and other endurance-based sports abuse the hell out of clenbuterol. But additionally, and the real kingpin here, is that clenbuterol is actually known to cause an increase in thermogenesis, or in other words, metabolic rate, or in other words, burn more calories for you without you having to do more work. This is immediately why it gained popularity within the bodybuilding and fitness community, because you can take a simple pill, you can burn a lot of fats, and ultimately you get more energy from it. And one of the really cool things about this beta-2 pathway is it doesn't just stimulate fat loss, it actually stimulates directly anabolism or muscle gain. And so when a person's trying to stay super lean and they aren't eating a lot of foods, which would normally be what keeps muscle around and even builds it, they can take clenbuterol to conserve muscle tissue and even potentially build muscle tissue. This is for sure how fake natties can stay so big but also simultaneously be so lean. And the real killer here is it's not hormonal. So you can take this compound indefinitely, which I don't suggest you do. And I am not a doctor, I'm just talking about what people do on this planet, but you can take it indefinitely. And realistically, you don't impact your hormonal function, you don't have any downregulation in your testosterone output, or if you're a female, estrogen and testosterone. And I do want to clarify that I don't have an exact idea of what some people are taking here. However, I have had quite a few consultation calls with fake naturals and in general athletes who are trying to pass blood tests, and I will tell you that clenbuterol is one of the most picked compounds of their choice. Off the record, it seems like most of their dosages are around 40 to 120 micrograms, depending on where they're at realistically. And personally for me, what I like to apply is about 20 to 120 micrograms, so it simply is conversion of, yeah, those doses are effective. But this is really just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, there's so much more these guys are using. And I think the next one is even wildly more important than this one. A lot of female secret sauce enthusiasts are big on this, but males can use this just the same, and the Varbies know what I'm talking about. Anavar is a fucking ridiculously powerful compound at making someone just look slightly enhanced, but not overdoing it. It makes you really strong, it inflates your muscles through nitrogen and glycogen retention, and it obviously aids in muscle growth and recovery. I know that sounds weird as a targeted goal for someone who wants to be ideally big and strong and bigger than everybody else, but hear me out. It won't get you jacked like a full cycle of testosterone and anadrol and mastron and trenbolone would do, or growth hormone. It's just going to put on some size. And I think that's the key, is some size. Enough size to make you look really, really impressive and possibly a genetic outlier in the field of fitness influencers, but just enough to make someone scratch their head. Now, real talk, Anavar is a wonderful compound, and I personally enjoy using it in myself and other clients. And if used correctly, it won't shut down your hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis or your testicular axis as fast as other exogenous hormones would, for example, like injectable testosterone or trenbolone or mastron or any of the other ones we have. A simple dose of 2.5 to 10 milligrams per day for 6 to 8 weeks can be wildly effective, great for a temporary photo shoot so you can repost your content for months on end, and it won't stop you from producing your own natural testosterone, and it won't stop a female from having her own natural cycle and hormonal fluctuation throughout a month. Okay, this is really important. The patterns I typically see being used with this compound are pretty simple, and trust me, I help a lot of Thai girls who don't know how bodybuilding works in Thailand, and they're absolutely destroying their bodies and self very fast. A note for a different day is girls typically thrive off of 2.5 milligrams per day for a very long time. They can kind of exceed that 8-week limit with a very small dose of 2.5 milligrams daily. If they were to maintain that 2.5 milligram dose, at the end of the week, they would have 14 to 18 milligrams of total serum androgens having accumulated in their system. That's not really the right terminology, but we're going to run with it here because it's simpler to understand. Now, a standard female who is natural and actually embracing that natty lifestyle, let's go, would typically have about 3 to 7 milligrams of total testosterone within her blood serum at any given point, or what is the equivalent to it. So this is putting a female slightly above reference ranges in terms of actually having a super physiological amount of androgens and anabolics, but not enough to cause a ton of virilization. This is kind of why it's so effective. It's also estrogen neutral. It has no interplay with estrogen, meaning when you take testosterone, the aromatase enzyme is going to cleave up some of that testosterone and turn it into estrogen. estrogen. But Anavar is not testosterone. It is a DHT or dihydrotestosterone derivative and therefore cannot be cleaved up into estrogen. And as we know it, estrogen is the primary negative feedback loop to your hormonal systems. So if you don't modulate estrogen in a short period of time, you won't have a negative suppression over endogenous or your body's hormonal production. Men typically, I see just about 10 milligrams a day as the average, up to 20 milligrams a day for fake nannies that are out there. And again, this is something that can keep their testosterone production relatively within range. It will get suppressed, but it won't completely shut down like other compounds would do. Now, there is another alternative, however, and I think this one's actually really important, and it could just completely be saying, fuck it to your natural hormone production and go full balls to the walls and make this thing a lifestyle. But before I get into that, I want to talk about Blood Bill Coaching. See, Blood Bill Coaching is a world-class coaching company. I founded it. We offer a turnkey service for clients to get immediate results and have immediate action taken on their process. We have the highest care for client approach, meaning you get 24/7 communication, calls, texts, seminars, weekly educational platforms. And one of the best things that we do is educate our clients after working with them. It's not just a simple coaching program where you get told what to do and then you have to do it. You also get walked through step by step every single thing we do with a full educational platform, explaining those things in detail so that when you leave the program, you're either a better coach than you were when you entered or a better athlete than you were when you entered. If you're interested, all you need to do is click the link below this video and schedule a call with me as soon as you possibly can. I take calls personally, so you will be talking to me, and I'm happy to do so. So like all things on this list, this is a normal therapy. However, it's a therapy that's a lot more utilized in modern society than the other ones I mentioned. And it's certainly way more liberally applied when in relation to a hormonal clinic in the United States, something like a TRT clinic, because they simply don't have the regulations that a normal endocrinologist or doctor would, so they can kind of just do what they want. It's like the wild, wild west. So testosterone therapy has a really powerful impact on people's physiques, and it has many meanings. Therapy can be a normal dose or it can be a stupid high dose with other anabolics included in that stack. And this makes it a wildly stealthy trick for fake natties trying to influence people and tell them that their results are completely naturally achievable, but only through their program. For starters, a normal doctor or endocrinologist will generally prescribe testosterone of about 70 to 100 milligrams per week for a normal patient who is experiencing hypogonadism or a lack of production of their own testosterone. And this dose still wildly enhances someone's ability to recover, build muscle, and look jacked. The reason being is because it stabilizes your hormonal levels. You see, as a natural person, you have a bad night of sleep, your hormonal levels crash. You have a poor diet for one day, your hormonal levels crash. You have microtoxins within your environment like microplastics, your hormonal levels crash. You get too lean, your hormonal levels crash. You get too fat, your hormonal levels crash. Everything really has to be in that Goldilocks zone to maximize output as a natural individual. But they don't even care about that. In fact, that's still too little for most fake natties. From the consults I've done and talking to people within the industry, it seems about the average TRT dose for a fake natty is anywhere from 250 milligrams to 400 milligrams of total androgens. And that's not just testosterone. A lot of clinics will prescribe testosterone, nandrolone, Anavar, and other forms of anabolics to get that dose a little bit higher and off-label prescribe things that they maybe shouldn't be getting prescribed in the first place. Shout out to our clinic, actually, Rise HRT. The code for this is BloodBill20. If you want some serious blood work with discounts and hormones, you can go there and they will hook you up. They're my favorite guys in the world. BloodBill20, all caps. Go to their website, risehrt.com. Click the button Start Now. You'll figure everything out. So take this. A natty standard fella on juice rocks up to a HRT clinic and says, hey, can I get a service? I'm going to pay a little extra premium to get the good stuff. He walks out the door with a prescription in hand for a compounded pharmacy's formulation of testosterone. He starts injecting himself with 250 milligrams of testosterone a week with an AI or an aromatase inhibitor so that his estrogen doesn't get too high, probably once a week. And it's just a easy process, as simple as that. As long as you have some good blood work, the doctors are generally fine with prescribing whatever you need because they get paid to do it in a private setting. So they're just handing this shit out like candy. And as a natty who is not so natty, it's a fucking gold stream. Because now, just like everybody else in America who has 8 prescriptions on average, you now have a prescription. And does a prescription really impact your natty status? You don't have a choice. It was prescribed by a doctor. If it's prescribed by a a doctor, you have to take it. Shit's out of luck, dude. Now, loaded with this knowledge, you can attack Instagram and TikTok and overload the algorithm with certain leverages and be a fake daddy for life. Fair enough, right? Real talk, though, and super important. To understand the impacts of what people are doing on social media is seriously critical for your and my understanding. Running a coaching business, I get on dozens of calls a day with people who have never touched a macro calculator in their life. They're now taking a huge transitional leap into fitness and health. Whether their goal is bodybuilding or just to have general fitness, it doesn't really matter. Their misconceptions are completely fried. I mean, it's cooked. They always bring up, well, I saw so-and-so do it on TikTok, or this and that do it on Instagram, and I want to do it too. Carnivore, vegan, whatever it is, this supplement, that supplement. It is widespread. And I really do get massively concerned with people's well-being when they start bringing up these dichotomies. Because on the face of it, these influencers are talking about fitness and health. What's not to love? It's a great thing to talk about. But to get views, they have to be convicted and dramatize a lot of their material. And that might be telling blatant lies about certain diets or supplement protocols or services in general or at large to garner that viewership. You'll find that a lot of these influencers will speak in absolutes.
I'm being serious. No, you see, I'm talking facts here. I don't do if, buts and maybes. I do absolutes.
This is the only way you can do X, Y, and Z. This is the only product that works. I have never seen something blah, 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 that kind of stuff. But those absolutes discourage people from trying virtually anything else and improving their lives in the long run. And what they soon find after committing themselves to a path that another person is wildly convicted to because it garners views and income, that the influencer in which influenced them to do the thing that they're selling isn't actually going to achieve them results. The thing that they're selling doesn't actually do anything for them, and in fact, they're the same position they were in before they started.
I just don't see the point.
And then as they see that the results that the fitness influencer has are not possible for them after several weeks and probably several thousands of dollars, no kidding, I mean, it's crazy what some of these people charge for their services, they get discouraged. And so the next best thing is to give up and assume that the industry is just a cash grab. And now the conundrum here is that you have a whole group of people who's been treated poorly by influencers who may have had good intentions at the start, but converted into dollar signs passing through their sunshades. Those same influencers are now telling a person that they can get results that are unrealistic, unnatural, and impossible for them to achieve, all the while selling them a product, telling them that it is possible, it is going to happen in a very short period of time, and that everyone can do it just using their product or service. So you have all these people who are discouraged and absolutely despise the fitness industry, products at large, and coaches especially. And it's a real sucky situation to be in, but I'm curious on what your guys' thoughts are. If you like this video, comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.